When people talk about the best anime of the last decade, Mob Psycho probably doesn't get talked about enough. Neither does the best villain in the series, Keiji Mogami, a villain who's around for around 33 minutes, yet leaves a bigger mark than villains who've been around for dozens of episodes. Because his story and the trials he puts Mob through aren't just supernatural, they are applicable to anyone. This universal story is what makes him unforgettable. But to get to him, I have to lay the groundwork for his story to make sense. It all starts when a CEO invites all the best psychics around to exorcise his daughter Minori. He has her behind a one-way mirror for everyone to see, and he explains he has tried everything, yet no one can find anything wrong with her. She's not the same girl anymore. Something is wrong. The only explanation left is she's been possessed by an evil spirit. That's why they're here, to kill it at any cost. The main character, this little dude named Mob, and his mentor Reigan are part of that group of psychics. In typical Mob fashion, it starts silly. This group full of grifters plays rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first, and of course that ends with Reigan winning. But when he interviews Minori, you're thrown for a loop. She says her father has lost his mind. He locks her up, he hits her, which she essentially admits to, and her papa lets others touch her. I'm not cursed, Mr. Psychic. He's crazy. Please help me. And then you think about it, and her father has provided no proof of his claims. This may be a Diddy situation. His daughter hasn't even acted weird. She seems terrified. Not only do you start getting suspicious of the whole thing, the psychics do too. But that's what makes Reigan so great. He's a total con man paying Mob slave wages, constantly relying on Mob's amazing powers to do his work for him, but he is bright. He points out Minori switched between using father and papa, and despite not introducing himself, she knew he was a psychic. This girl has absolutely been possessed. It's solved quickly, but it is cool how immediately Mogami tests people and creates doubt in others, which we'll explore further. Once that plan fell through, there's no reason to keep the charade going. The glass shatters, and 10 minutes into the episode, we learn this spirit's name, Keiji Mogami. And that name carries weight in this world. Mob's spirit friend Dimple says, "We gotta go. This guy is the real deal." Turns out, 40 anime years ago, which is somehow 25 manga years, Keiji Mogami was a popular psychic. He used his ability to help people, and the media loved him. And you know the media, they never get those guys wrong. One day he vanished without a trace, and that was the last anyone heard about him. Or, that was the story at least. His mother was sick, and to pay for her treatment, he needed a constant influx of cash. OnlyFans hadn't been created yet, so he did the next best thing, and started murdering people for money. Who would have guessed there'd be consequences for that? The negative energy of these actions lingered, which resulted in his mother's condition only getting worse. Ironically, the things he did to save his mother kept her sick and turned her into a vengeful spirit. The trauma of constantly seeing both the living and the dead in their final moments wore on him. It broke his psyche and changed him as a person. Here's an example. Dimple recalls the one time they met. Mogami came to absorb him like he had with many other spirits. His plan was to off himself and become a vengeful spirit himself. He was going to take revenge on the people who use others, who think nothing bad will happen to them, people he'd grown accustomed to seeing during his life. He wanted to show people what true hatred really was. He succeeded in all of this. Think about this for a second. This dude was so far gone, so Reverse Flash level petty, and so confident in his abilities that he offed himself to become an evil spirit just so he could ruin others' lives. For someone to want to do that, they had to have a brutal life themselves. All these psychics in the room, they're nothing to him. They bore him. He literally force chokes a dude for the lulz. None of these weaklings are worthy of living, so he's going to make sure they all die. He traps everyone, he possesses people, he chokes Reigan, he stabs Minori's father, and he bends her joints beyond their human limits. Basically, he wrecks everyone there doing the darkest stuff the show has seen to this point. Well, everyone but Mob. Through the entirety of the series, Mob's powers have overwhelmed everyone he's come into contact with. He has an emotional percentage meter that pops up time and time again, and when it hits 100%, it's over for his opponent. In fact, the only real threat to Mob is himself. When his emotions get out of control, so does his power, usually as the result of trauma. And here in Season 2, we see Mob fail for the first time. He's never been overpowered before, especially at 100%. He needs a new tactic. He's going to jump into Minori's psyche as well and force Mogami out that way. When he makes it in, it's cozier than he expects. Mogami even welcomes him in. They have a quick fight, and this time Mob wins. Wait, nope, that's just more manipulation. He allowed Mob to come inside so he could test him. Power comes from emotions, and the most powerful emotion is misery, if that counts as an emotion. To become stronger, he'll need to change the way he views the world. And so everything I've been talking about this entire video builds to what happens next, the main purpose of this video. Mogami, using his abilities, removes Mob's access to his psychic powers, tweaks his memories, and drops him into a sort of thought experiment to see how he'd handle a more difficult life. It does not go well. This new reality is alien to him. Mob's brother turned into a stranger. His parents, gone. Without his powers and his support system, he's a loner. He lives day in and day out getting bullied constantly for no reason whatsoever. It's cruel, but Mogami has a point. He felt abandoned by everyone in his life. What he's doing is putting Mob through what many people really do go through. Not everyone is as lucky as Mob was to have love and support. The world can be a cruel place. Kindness can get you destroyed. At first, Mob questions why people act this way. He questions himself, his own values even. This bullying goes on day after day for a simulated 6 months. After enough time passes, Mob doesn't even remember what it was like outside of this reality. He's forgotten it completely, and finally, he snaps. He's been bullied to the point he's literally bleeding from his skull, so he grabs one bully by the neck and chokes them. Mogami allows him to use his powers here. One point he makes is that if you're powerful, you are obligated to use that power. Mob demands an apology from the girl behind the bullying and brings her to tears. Then he's about to cross a line you never thought you'd see him cross: murder. For the entirety of the show, Mob has been the most innocent and kind person you could imagine. Seeing this play out is the furthest thing from who he is. Mogami being able to break him shows how important circumstances are in one's life. This story applies to anyone, but who you are and how you respond matters too. Dimple arrives and helps Mob remember his prior life. Mogami says, "It doesn't matter, you've been exposed to the real world now. You can't undo the 6 months of suffering you just went through." Mob says, he's right. That'll only make him appreciate what he does have even more. He now realizes how good he has it, how lucky he is, and that he needs to protect the people who make his life special. He embraces the values that have been instilled in him. With his powers unlocked for the first time, Mob hits 100%, but not from losing control or from sadness or anger. This 100% is based on positive emotions. He hasn't lost himself at all. He has complete control of his power. He and Mogami battle, and eventually Mogami's exterior cracks. All the evil spirits he absorbed come out of him, and he can no longer control them. So Mob both literally and metaphorically defeats these demons. In the end, Mob succeeds, but his mindset has changed. He's more understanding of others' struggles and appreciative of his own life. On the other end, Mogami did make Mob stronger, but his own mind was changed too, which is probably what he was going for all along. Someone who could go through what he did and come out all the better for it. A trauma response to self-loathing. Mob has been lucky in his life, but he also attempts to better himself. He's grown as a person, and throughout the series, his kindness actually helps people like Reigan grow as well. He joined the Body Improvement Club for that very reason. That's why Mob was better than Mogami. The desire for improvement, not joining a club. Kindness can be trampled, but it can also trample negative emotions and spur growth. This is the difference between them, how they choose to react to hardship. Mogami chose to isolate himself and responded with hatred. Mob chooses to empathize and appreciate the good he does have. The cool thing is, Mogami doesn't die in this fight. He simply says he's going to observe what Mob does going forward to see if he made the right decision. Then he vanishes. He actually does come back a handful of episodes later, where he again helps Mob grow as a person, showing him that sometimes you have to be tough on others, which allows him to defeat his enemy. After that, he vanishes again, but this time I think he's gone for good. Dimple initially theorized that, and I agree, reason being, he found someone who proved his philosophy wrong. The world may be cruel, but it is also kind, so he could finally pass on in peace. I think my favorite villain trope ever is the "I'm going to make you walk a mile in my shoes" to see if you can overcome what I've gone through. It makes the villain relatable, but also shows why the hero is the hero when they do overcome these poor circumstances. That's exactly what this is, except instead of a mile, it's like a million. And the way it's handled so well in less than 2 episodes really makes it stand out, not just to me, but to a lot of anime fans. It's an amazing 33 minutes, and I can't think of a villain done better, quicker. Now subscribe or die.